What's the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. They've changed their team principal since 2013. How many times is this? A seventh team principal? There's Mattiacci.
Fifth or sixth.
Right, okay. So
Domenicali,
I'm not going to go.
Mattiacci, Arrivabene, Binotto,
and Vasseur.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Compared to 0 changes for Red Bull and Mercedes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And, look
and
who's
Red
winning.
Bull and Mercedes have been, interestingly, the two teams to win all the championships in those years.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on from one shady character to a team.
Just a number 4 on
the
a
favorite
Ferrari
team.
caught my eye there. Just, I don't know.
So, first of all, the whole thing, the leak that we had last time around with Fred Vasseur's position being in danger. So, what's your take on the whole thing, Ned? Do you think there's actually a certain level of credibility to the thing that has actually come out?
What has actually come out? Because I'm not entirely sure what this is.
Okay, so the reports that came out, which was pre-Canadian Grand Prix, where it was 3 things basically. First is that Fred Vasseur has lost the confidence of the board, and he's probably they are lining up a replacement, probably the person who's heading the WEC program right now. Second thing is Charles Leclerc is losing confidence in the team.
Oh, I do remember this now.
And third is Lewis is upset because no one is listening to him. So these are the 3 things. So yeah.
Right. So there's a bit to unpack here. Obviously, I wouldn't mind Hamilton going from Ferrari. I wouldn't mind it. So the ideal situation is that this is the thing, because you said that you could get the guy from WEC to come over. I don't remember any I might be completely wrong here. I might be forgetting some big person. But I don't think anyone's ever come over from endurance racing and done anything successful in Formula 1. I think wasn't it FX
Seidel, Andreas Seidel.
Okay, yeah, Seidel, fair enough.
He did bring a team to the midfield, so he could be good at bringing Ferrari to the midfield.
What did you say?
I'm just saying Seidel was very good at bringing McLaren up the midfield, so you could get someone to bring Ferrari back to the midfield where it belongs at the minute. Yeah,
I suppose. It wasn't, as I said, wasn't it FX de Maison, the guy who was at Williams? Wasn't he from endurance racing?
I believe so. Yeah.
I thought you meant drivers at first, and I was like, "What? Giovinazzi's going to Ferrari?" Or are we? I was thinking, in the '60s, Jackie Ickx did a lot of endurance racing first, and then.
Speaking of Giovinazzi, but I think if Leclerc and Hamilton were to both leave, which I don't think Leclerc would be as inclined to leave as Hamilton would be, because he had been in that team for a long time. I know he's fed up and wants to win a championship.
Part of him is dead already,
and he's got nowhere to go as well. So
yeah, because he wouldn't go to Red Bull because we've already established the reasons why. If he was to give that second seat, he just wouldn't. Mercedes are full up. McLaren, to be fair, if Lando keeps performing as he is, I don't think it would be completely out of the blue for him to go to McLaren. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I don't think Lando would go to Ferrari, but can you imagine if Leclerc
be good for his mental health?
I think Max kicking Lando out of McLaren sounds very realistic and very very symbolic as well. Actually, as well.
Can you imagine if Leclerc went to McLaren? Can you imagine all the fangirls then? Leclerc and Oscar in the same team.
Jesus,
Choska they call it, or
God, yeah.
But
Liastri.
Whatever happens with that, if one of them was to leave the team, it just means that Behrman gets promoted to Ferrari earlier, which is all good for me.
Not good for him.
Maybe not, but I think it's better than Haas.
I mean, you're ignoring Ocon there, because Ocon, I think he's always said he wants, even though he was a Mercedes junior, he'd always wanted to drive for Ferrari. So
Behrman's a Ferrari junior.
Yeah, but Ocon is a.
If you could get Ocon in for 8 races a year, that would be great, because he's really good 8 races a year. He's just shit for the rest of them.
Yeah, the joke didn't land.
Behrman could sort out Hamilton's qualifying issues, because Behrman's been one of the top 5 qualifiers this year. So,
well, Hamilton did say last year if he qualified better, he could have won, but then he qualified better and still ended up not winning. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean the groundhog played a big role, right? So but again, what's your take on, is it going to happen or not? The Fred Vasseur thing.
Because I've got all the main details now, I can't form a major opinion, but it would be the most Ferrari thing ever for everyone to just leave. So yeah.
I feel like with the Fred Vasseur thing, it's like Ferrari, even in the past 10 years, have been in worse positions than this, and I'm I'm wondering if maybe everyone's decided the final straw is that Lewis is complaining and not winning. It's like, no, we can't have Ferrari suffering now. And it's like, well, Charles had to go through this for years. Like, Vettel was making strategies on the fly in a car that was deliberately built, kind of was against his own driving style in many ways. Kimi just didn't exist there. It was just completely ignored. Yeah. Like, they've been useless for a long time. This didn't just start under Fred. And again, for last year, yeah, it was shaky at points, but towards the second half of the season, it was really good, and they had breakout races in Kota and Monza and wherever else. It hasn't happened yet, but it might. But for the time being, they're just not going anywhere really.
Yeah, Jason,
just like. What's the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. They've changed their team principal since 2013. How many times is this a seventh team principal? There's Mattiacci.
Fifth or sixth.
Right, okay. So
Domenicali,
I'm not going to go.
Mattiacci, Arrivabene, Binotto,
and Vasseur.
Yeah.
Right,
That's
okay.
five.
Compared to 0 changes for Red Bull and Mercedes.
Yeah,
and,
and Red Bull and Mercedes have been, interestingly, the two teams to win all the championships in those years. So, it just, like, removing Vasseur just isn't a good idea. The problem is, it just goes back to what I was saying about Red Bull. Until they put full faith in the team to actually build itself and, like, say to Vasseur, right, look, you have 5 years, go crazy, build the team up. Until they do that, as long as the board is every 3 months going, well, actually, we've got results coming up and you're not doing great, so can we just change something? Like, as long as that goes on, you're just not going to win a championship. And it just, the board has run the Ferrari team since 2007, essentially. Like, you know, realistically, as soon as John Todd was leaving, that was it, really. I know they won one championship under Stefano, but really that was just the leftovers of John Todd. Like, let's be honest here. So I don't know. Ferrari just doesn't seem to go anywhere. And then it's constantly just, they have to do the blame game. It's either the drivers or the team principal. It's never anything else. You know, it's never anything else. Like, when they weren't winning before, it's Vettel's fault. It's like, no, like, Vettel didn't win 2017 and 2018 because he was driving for Ferrari, a team that mentally destroys you and mentally turns you into Lando Norris. So, like, it's just going to be impossible for them to win. So, and, like, Hamilton coming to the team, like, what was the point of that apart from just spending a load of money on a driver who wasn't going to be an improvement over Sainz? So it's just bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. So yeah, like, there was a point to this rant. I don't think they'll remove Fred Vasseur this year. I think they will remove him for next year if they don't win the championship this year, which is a completely pointless and ridiculous thing to do because they weren't going to win the championship this year regardless because McLaren made a big step. They should have been ahead of Ferrari, though. That's the thing that should hang over.
Ahead of Ferrari?
Or sorry, yes, they should have been ahead of where Ferrari are now. That actually is a factual statement. They should have been ahead of Red Bull, is what I meant to say. Like, there's no reason for them not to be beating Red Bull right now.
Yeah. It's basically the US presidential term, right? 4 years and you're done. They gave Arrivabene 4 years, basically from 2015 till 2019, 2015 to 2018, then he was chucked out. 19, 20, 21, 22 for Binotto, and then he was gone. And now Vasseur is currently in his third season, and by next season he will be out as well.
It's even more close than that because, like America, it doesn't matter who you put in charge. For some reason, you still end up bombing.
Yeah.
So
it's bombing the
very
Middle East.
similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are Ferrari bombing the Middle East?
They're bombing at least. They're bombing something.
I'm trying to think that what their results are like in Abu Dhabi and Qatar and
and
Ferrari, much like America, bombing in the Middle East. Since 2003. Actually, yeah, because in Abu Dhabi they did bomb in 2012, 2010. Yeah.
They haven't won any of those races recently, have they? But
no.
Red Bull have won basically everything, and McLaren recently. So
yeah. Or Mercedes, you can go back like since 2010. It's I think
the Germans were always quite successful in the Middle East, though.
Yeah.
Same with the British, always quite good in the Middle East.
Yeah. Coming back to this.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think 2025 he's going to stick around. Fred Vasseur is probably not going, because the way both Lewis and Leclerc, they've kind of rallied around Fred Vasseur. They're going to have some confidence. Okay, let's just keep him for this season. Next season, I think almost, if there's one prediction everyone can make, it's basically that Ferrari is going to be dog shit when it comes to every other team. And yeah, pretty much the power unit, and it's basically the Ferrari insider that was there in the race. He kind of revealed that Mercedes and Audi are supposed to have the best. Audi is a big surprise, but apparently Mercedes and Audi are supposed to have a strong engine. And then you have
the thing you can be
Ferrari
sure that
training.
Ferrari, but you can be sure that Ferrari has a shit engine, because you know if Ferrari had an even relatively decent engine, you'd hear 5 magazines out of Maranello being like, we're going to win the next 7 years of championships.
Yeah.
And they're all very quiet at the minute and like, yeah, we're not really sure about it. So you know it's dog shit. Like, you know it's really bad.
It's precisely. And once that happens, Fred Vasseur is gone. Because look, they don't make smart calls, and John Elkann is not a person who's known to make smart calls. I mean, if you look at the stuff he's done off the F1 track, let's just put it that way. But yeah,
it's Matt from P1 I feel sorry for in all of this, to be honest.
Why?
Leclerc Ferrari fan.
I mean, that's never good for your health, isn't it? But yeah, I agree. I think by 2026, my prediction was that I think Fred Vasseur is gone. And I'm pretty sure Leclerc will be done by then. If he isn't done by then you have to... Then he's foolish. Basically, he's foolish. He doesn't have the even a slight bit of cognitive ability to know that in Formula 1, you don't win with Ferrari. After spending 9 years.
Can I ask a question, actually, the entire group here? Does anyone here think Leclerc could win a championship at Ferrari?
No.
No, okay.
I'll go one step further. I don't think any driver on the current grid could win a championship with Ferrari.
But
as simple
what
as that.
about all those people last year, because there were thousands of them, excited for Hamilton to go to a serious team? Like what?
I think they were convinced he was going to win because him and Fred Vasseur did GP2 together.
Yes.
Like, they know each other, so yeah. And I mean, when there was the uncertainty with Adrian Newey leaving, and I was just like, please, anywhere but Ferrari. Like, and he had Aston Martin, so yeah.
Let's see what happens with him. Coming to the Ferrari drivers, by the way, how do you think we've seen how the first 10 races have kind of gone? How do you think the rest of it goes? The rest 14 races per se, between Lewis and Charles.
Kind of like it is at the moment, I guess, just because, I mean, so far Lewis has beaten Charles in the sprint race in China, which doesn't count because it's a sprint race.
And that's not just you saying that. Lewis Hamilton himself said sprint races don't count. So that...
Yeah, well, I mean, everyone said, Alonso said they don't count, and yeah, no one wants them, so yeah. But yeah, they don't count. And then Imola, where he got yet another free pit stop or free safety car, when Leclerc himself had pulled a blinder strategy-wise and was on course for a podium until said safety car came along. But other than that, yeah, it's been Charles beating him every time. So there might be the odds.
No one saw that coming, right? We definitely didn't all call that last year.
Yeah. There might be a race or two later on where he does beat him on pace or whatever, but yeah.
Silverstone, maybe.
Yeah. The podium, the one podium of the season at Silverstone is already written in the stars.
And then he'll be like, this is the turning point, this is where everything gets good for Ferrari, and then like Mercedes last year, it'll drop again. Yeah, until Leclerc gets banned at Spa and he gets a free win or something.